1 hour until the fights. In the Wildcats, we called this the golden hour, that crucial window between intel gathering and action. Right now, we've got multiple vectors to consider. The palace, Kelso, the box. With pretty much everyone in the city watching the fights, the palace is probably operating with a skeleton crew. But rushing in without a plan? That's how you end up being tomorrow's object lesson in the arena. We need to use this time to build a real strategy, not just react to whatever the king throws at us next.
The gulp. Now that's what I call adaptive reuse of civic infrastructure. You know what every good merchant needs? Inventory. And what better cover than a few bottles of the local spirits? Though I have to say, if we're really selling this merchant angle, we might want to aim for something a bit more premium than whatever Mooney's brewing in that elevator shaft. Then again, when in the Barrens...
An elevator bar. Now I've seen everything. Though gotta admit, the engineering's solid. Better climate control than my current situation, that's for sure.
Oh, what an interesting place. An elevator bar? How delightfully innovative. And Mooney's aura is quite fascinating. All fizzy around the edges like a manna champagne cocktail. Rufus says the hooch might be made from recycled boot polish. But at these prices, who's complaining?
Good defensive setup, limited access points, clear sight lines. No one's stealing Mooney's rot gut without taking a few slugs. Probably as good a place as any to discuss next steps, as long as we make sure Slade is out of earshot.
Classic corporate strategy. Strike while everyone's looking the other way. Arena's the perfect distraction. I mean, who's going to be watching the palace when there's ritualized violence happening next door? Give me 5 minutes with any guard who stayed behind, and I'll convince them we're delivering urgent supplies for the victory celebration.
Negative on palace infiltration. Zero intel on security systems, guard rotations, or internal layout. No confirmed intel on target location. Walking in blind is how you end up decorating the king's trophy wall. Strategic patience isn't fun, but it beats strategic suicide.
Maybe there's some drones buzzing around. Bet I could pick up their signals, maybe patch into their feeds. Might even be able to spoof one if I get lucky. At the very least, could tell us what we're dealing with. Nobody ever looks up at their own drones. That's just good science.
Rufus thinks, and I must say I agree, that we should consult the local spirits about the palace's history. Buildings remember things, you know. Though the spirits here are rather tetchy. Can't say I blame them. Getting blown up would make anyone grumpy.
I have to say, our friend Slade is starting to show his limitations. Classic case of overselling and under-delivering. In corporate, we'd let him down easy with a "we'll keep your resume on file" speech. Out here, we just, is Nahi just gonna kill him? You know, I'm not 100% sure she's just not gonna do that. Yeah.
Slate's departure. Clean break. No complications. Better to cut loose an unreliable asset early than deal with inevitable betrayal later. Glad I didn't have to kill him.
Well, look who finally got the hint. Been watching that twitchy mug through my peripheral cams this whole time, just waiting for him to try something stupid. But sometimes trash takes itself out. One less variable in an already complicated equation.
Oh, has Mr. Slate left? His aura was starting to give me a headache anyway. All jagged edges and nervous energy, like a caffeinated ferret in a sock drawer. Rufus never liked him either. Said he was a desperate, approval-seeking black hole. Though I suppose we should thank him for getting us this far. Even if this far is, well, all this.
Good time to catch a break. Chuck found a signal out there in all the dead noise of the Barrens. It's close, and more important, it's familiar.
That signal I picked up, same frequency as what I caught from Kelso's rig at the hijack site. Like finding a familiar face in a crowd of static. Took some doing to narrow it down. This place is swimming in random signals and noise, but you don't spend your life talking to machines without learning their language. Should be able to tap in and make contact with Keylock. Gonna take a while, though.
Getting in touch with Kelso won't have the same theatrical flair as infiltrating the palace, but it's actually pretty clutch work on Chuck's part. Definitely a solid win. And in the meantime, We get to watch some honest-to-goodness blood sports. People pay good money to experience simulated versions of this sort of thing. Hey, that's true. People pay good money. Imagine what they'd pay for the real deal. Man, I wish we could film this. We could use it as a proof of concept. We definitely need to talk to the king now. Live from the CrashZone pay-per-view, gambling incentives, vertical integration, SimSense rigs, weekly Matrix events, franchise opportunities for other destructured social collectives. Oh, wow. Calm down, Sal. You're awesome, but we've got a job to do.
The arena, oh my. It's like someone took a perfectly good sinkhole and made it worse. Rufus absolutely refuses to look at it. Says it smells of bad decisions and worse outcomes.
Crowd positioning suggests regular events. Everyone knows where to stand for best views. Multiple tiers of spectators in surrounding buildings. Perfect firing positions if this goes sideways. The sinkhole's not just an arena. It's a kill zone waiting to happen.
Now, this is what I call audience engagement. Every corporate event planner dreams of this kind of turnout. The crowd management is fascinating. Social hierarchies clearly displayed through viewing positions. Heartsworn get the prime spots, merchants slightly lower, general population wherever they can squeeze in. And Malevolous, pure executive presence. That entrance, that swagger, you can't teach that kind of brand authority.
Signals bouncing all over the place with these buildings, but I'm narrowing it down. There's a pattern. Always is if you know how to look. The king, though, watching him through my diagnostic feeds is something else. Whatever chrome he's running, it's not street tech. And this whole setup, arena card from a sinkhole, crowds packed in like spam in a can. Someone put some serious thought into this operation. Just gotta keep working this signal while pretending to watch the show.
The fights begin. Now, this is what we call experiential brand marketing. You know, it's through controlled violence instead of the usual off-site meetings, but still works, right? Though I have to say, those bar guests were a bit more bitey than our corporate team building exercises. And that was some kind of reward from the king to his heartsworn. I guess I'll never complain about getting shortchanged on my quarterly bonus ever again.
Heartsworn versus bar guests. Not impressed. Sloppy. Barely functional as a unit. The next batch. Those rusted stiletto mutants and the red-hot nukes. Some kind of execution through combat. The nukes, though, their warning about Malevolous bears consideration. And during it all, the king. Every move is calculated for maximum psychological impact. The way he stripped his armor, handed back the weapons. That's not showmanship. That's psychological warfare. Making sure everyone knows exactly how little he fears them.
You know, I've seen violence before. Live in the Barrens long enough and you see all sorts of nastiness. But this was different. The king, his aura during the fight. Imagine a bonfire made of chrome and fury. That's not just physical adept enhancement. That's something else entirely. Poor Xerx. I mean, yes, apparently he was a traitor, but having your heart literally torn out of your chest seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? Though I suppose that's what passes for civil discourse around here.
Working on that signal. If I can just... There, got a lock. Now we just need to reach Kelso without alerting every security system in the zone, or getting our hearts torn out. Man, what did I just see?
That heart extraction finale, bit more literal than the hostile takeovers I'm used to. Though I suppose it gets the point across, especially when you brandish it to your executive team. Or the heartsworn in this case.
Final assessment. King's demonstration wasn't just violence. It was messaging. Your hearts belong to me. Primitive, but effective. We're in deeper than we planned, and the real game's just starting.
Finally got through to Kelso. Now let's just hope Bathrobe Man's in a sharing mood about our box.
Getting Kelso's attention without actually getting his attention. Now that's the kind of delicate maneuvering I live for. A subtle hint about the auteur dropped at just the right moment. The way his head snapped up when he caught our meaning. Beautiful. Like watching a seasoned exec realize there's a golden parachute hidden in the fine print. Now we just have to hope our bathrobe-wearing friend is as eager to discuss our mutual interests as he appears to be. Though given his current accommodation situation, I imagine he's quite motivated to entertain new opportunities.
We can talk with Kelso now, but timing is critical. Mass celebrations mean confused signals, divided attention. Perfect cover for extraction or infiltration, but also maximum security presence. High risk, multiple vectors for failure. I can hear the Colonel's voice in my head again. The best time to strike is when everyone else is too busy celebrating to notice the knife. Guess we're gonna find out how true that really is.